So good morning, Magdal, and thank you very much for taking time out to have this interview with us. It's very much appreciated.
Morning, Paul.
So I think that if you could just start by introducing yourself to the group in terms of you work at Motus. How long have you been working there, and what's your current role, and how long have you been doing that role?
Okay, so I've been with the Motus group for about 17 years, but in this position as leads and insights manager for Motus, I've been working for 3 years.
3 years. And tell us about that role, Magdal. What's your KPIs?
My main focus, my biggest goal is to ensure that the lead management process runs smoothly and to improve that on an ongoing basis. So we add stuff and we see what works best for the dealers to ensure that we capture all the incoming leads into our process to be sure that we can work with these customers and leads. Okay,
very good. Thank you. And interesting times in terms of lead management at the moment, isn't it? Lots of different leads, lots of different sources, and difficult sometimes. But I mean, I suppose in the old days, we used to do a lot of print, a lot of newspapers, a lot of sort of random stuff. It seems to have settled down to the portals, maybe Google, maybe the websites, and that's it really. I mean, do you find that there's any other traffic drivers that are relevant, or like Facebook, for example?
Well, we do see that customers prefer to do their research online. So the online platforms will always be very important. There is space for Facebook, but I think we should be very careful with Facebook because of the lead quality that we receive. Yeah. We've consistently seen that if you get a 3% conversion from Facebook, then you're doing very well. Yeah. So yes, there's other digital platforms that definitely give you better conversions.
Okay, thanks, Magdal. Okay, so the Motus and Logimeter have been working together since 2018, and we first started engaging. Well, we have a number of products where we work with you, but the ones that we're going to focus on today are the inbound call tracking products. And so in 2018, we started doing call tracking with you. How did you manage call tracking before? I know all of the portals tended to have their own call tracking solutions, but how did you engage with the data that they gave you?
Well, that was basically separate reports and sheets and nothing consolidated. So, and also it didn't feed into our lead management system. So it was very difficult to consolidate the information to really manage and track the inbound sales calls.
Yeah. So you were getting sources from them, or you were getting the sort of reports from each of the different portals, possibly as CSV files or possibly as dashboards, but you just didn't get that single view, which does make it difficult to evaluate. I understand. So then let's just dig in then. So with Logimeter, what happened then was that we came along and then we said, well, rather than let's not change the way that they're actually doing their call tracking on each of their portals, but let's rather change where those calls get routed to. And what we did was we basically gave you tracking numbers for all of your portals and for Google and for website. And we then enabled you to start seeing all of your inbound call traffic in one place. That was the first thing that we did. The second thing that we did was that we gave you call recordings, right? Which was really important, because if you want to hear how your sales guys are doing, you had that situation. You go into the Logimeter dashboards and you could listen to those calls. But then there were some other bits and pieces as well. We tracked your missed call rates, which unfortunately in dealerships can be quite material, can't it? But so what we did was, as I recall, was we put missed call notifications on, so it went back to the dealerships. Whenever a missed call occurred, someone in the dealership, be it the sales manager or the dealer principal, they received those missed call notifications, and it gave them the chance. And the notification included the the telephone number of the missed caller, and it gave them the chance to follow up. That was one of the things that we did. But you'll probably remember as well, Magdal, that the missed callers also received an SMS saying, sorry, we missed your call. We've captured your details and one of our representatives will call you back as soon as possible. So I think when you consolidated it all, you had a situation where you could see all of the data, you could hear all of the calls, and you could start optimizing your spend accordingly. Did you actually change the shape of your spend, or did you just get confirmation that that the spend was well spent, sort of thing? What was the outcome from consolidating all of your data?
Yes, definitely. It confirmed for us that some platforms were definitely worth being on and other platforms maybe not. But I feel tracking all the leads that we get from a specific platform is better to measure. You can't only measure a certain amount. So adding the inbound sales calls, we were also measuring those, and that gave us confirmation that we should stay on this platform or leave the platform.
Okay, great. And I have to ask, I'm being a little bit naughty here, but was there discrepancies between what the portal said was the volumes of calls and what you actually saw when you were able to track it all together, or was it pretty much a match?
In some cases, there was definitely discrepancies, purely because of duplicates, people who phone more than once, duplicate rules in our lead management system to avoid one customer being put through to various salespeople. So all of that would cause discrepancies between what the third party says and what we actually have in the system.
So is it fair to say that when you put it all through Logimeter, then you had a situation where at least you felt it was kind of audited, that you were able to see the true picture per portal, per website, and for Google? Because I don't think you were tracking actually Google and the websites prior to Logimeter coming in, right? So that exposed, yes. And they're quite material volumes of calls, hey, Magdal? For yes. Google, it's quite astonishing how many people call from Google. Okay.
Yes, so, that's true.
Yeah. So then what then happened was we recognized we were getting all these calls, but they would then go into the dealership, but it still required somebody to manually enter the data into your lead management system. So we started looking at a product, we call it Call Manager, which was where we added a sort of IVR menus to your call tracking numbers, which meant when somebody called that specific number, in theory, they could press 1 for new car sales, 2 for pre-owned, 3 for parts, 4 for service inquiries, or whatever it might be. And because we were able to do that, then it's kind of the next phase of the journey. You now know the quantity of calls that were coming from each of the portals, but you didn't know the quality of the calls. You didn't know the nature of the calls. So by putting on those menu structures, we were able to segment the traffic even further when it came into your dealerships. So Magdal, what then? So I think we took a different approach, didn't we? Went for, say, Google and website to what we did with the portals. You just want to unpack what we did with the menu options for those different sources?
Yes, certainly. So for the Google and dealer website tracking numbers, a person who goes onto Google to find your dealership might not only phone because he wants to talk about a used or a new car. He might phone to book a service or order a part, etc. So for the Google number, we had more IVR options. And the way we do it is for used cars, press 1, for new cars, press 2, for service, press 3, for parts, press 4. And we always have another option, which is to speak to anybody else or for any other inquiries, please press 5. Right. So that gives the customer the options of where he wants to go in the dealership.
Right. And,
yes.
And what did you find? I mean, I'm imagining that the lion's share of calls that came through when it was on Google and on the website were service inquiries. Would that be right? Was it significant in that regard?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Or people who ask for directions, then they would press for any other inquiry, and then they would press the last option. Yes.
But if I remember rightly, it was quite interesting that the website and Google did generate sizable numbers of sales inquiries as well, though, right? They did actually, yes. Which is a surprise. So people kind of are looking for a very specific dealership, and then they're pressing 1 for sales because they actually already know, they know what they want to buy. They know where they want to buy it, so they press 1. But we didn't know that before we put that tech in place, which was good to do. Now, the second sort of part of the tech was that when we had a situation where people, for example, called from, say, cars.coza, and then they press 1 to speak to pre-owned sales, that we made it so that all of the pre-owned sales guys' phones rung at the same time, and whoever was available took the call. And our system then captured, for example, that it was Paul who took the call. So now we knew, for example, that the call came from cars.coza, that the inquiry was about pre-owned sales, and that Paul took the call. And then we did an integration, didn't we, where we dropped that data directly into your lead management system. And those unqualified leads were actually allocated to Paul. So we were able to allocate inbound sales calls to sales execs, and they had to then go and do qualification inside the system. So do you just want to take us through that process?
Yes, certainly. So that was a key benefit for me of this call manager, because we need all our leads in our lead management system. So what would happen is when the salesperson has spoken to the customer after he's taken a lead manager or call manager lead, then he would go into the system and acknowledge that lead. The call is recorded, so he can go and listen. What did he discuss with the customer? When was the test drive booked for? And when he acknowledges it, he would enrich the lead to enter the customer's name and surname in the vehicle and whatever was discussed. Because on an inbound sales call, we only have the customer's number where he phoned from, the tracking number, obviously, to indicate which platform he was phoning from. So, so he would acknowledge that lead and put it with all his other leads in his prospects list. And then the manager has visibility of those leads as well to do follow-ups with the sales exec in their morning sales meeting. They could open the salesperson's lead management system and go, this is what's happened. These are the leads you received. How are we progressing? So it makes it easy to manage at dealership level as well.
I love capturing inbound sales calls in lead management systems or CRM systems, because it was previously hidden. You have a situation where a salesperson typically would only enter a lead or a sales call into the system if they had to do an action, which meant you never knew, for example, that they may have had 10 calls prior to that time that they weren't able to convert. All you would see was the one that went in, and they say, oh, my inbound sales call conversion is high, but in the meantime, you had 10 calls prior to it. And I actually think it's such a lovely thing, because you now can see, for example, that I say it's Paul's one of your sales execs, you can see that he's currently got a 10-to-1 conversion, for example. For every 10 inbound sales calls he receives, he only converts 1. Then Paul's got a bit of a challenge. You might see that Magdal, for every 3 inbound sales calls she's got, she converts 1. Well, she's doing something right. But we were never able to see that data before. So I think there's been some additional benefits as well. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. Because we all want to see the truth when it comes to conversion ratios.
Right.
And that is very important for us to have all the inbound calls in our system.
And hopefully also to know where we need to improve, because we're all about optimization. If we're sitting at a 6% conversion, we want it to be 7. If we're sitting at an 8, we want it to be 10. We want to get it as high as it can, and you can't do that until you have the data. So by having all the data, at least you've got the foundation. You can set benchmarks, and then you can figure out where you need to improve it for each individual. I think it's been great. So Magda, was there any key insights that you learned between sort of web leads coming into your business and then inbound sales calls? By putting all this together, was there any sort of magic numbers that evolved?
Yes, very exciting, Paul. What we have definitely seen is that the web leads converted at X percentage and the inbound sales leads converted at double the web leads
Wow.
conversion. Yes.
Double.
And we put it down to the customer's intent, because a customer who completes a form online is happy to wait to be phoned, although you need to do it fast. But a person who doesn't want to share his details and he wants to call immediately, I think his intent and his urgency speaks to the conversion ratio. So that was something very interesting that we've learned from managing all our inbound sales calls through this process.
Fantastic. And Magda, you and I were chatting just prior to us doing this session, but we've also established that on those inbound sales calls, or the first contact with somebody, that if you manage to book a meeting, you've got twice as likely chance of making a sale if you book a meeting in that first contact with someone. It's extraordinary how granular we can now get, now that we have this data going into the lead management system. We can track all these conversions. So it's a fascinating world, and lots of room for improvement for all of us. But so Magda, I'm gonna end it there. You have been brilliant. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you very much for sharing that with the group. And I'm sure people will ask you some questions a little bit later in the session. So for now, thank you very much, and we'll sign off.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.